putting them into the rational form that you will need for your calculators. So this one, it's a negative. That means it's going to be upside down. It's going to be below the x-axis. And you're going to want to put it in your calculators as x to the 2/3. Okay, and that odd index, odd denominator tells us I'm going to have all real numbers in my domain. The negative, I think, is going to tell me that it's going to be less than 0. The range is going to be less than 0. But let's put it in our calculators real quick just to make sure. This one is going to be, we're going to put in negative x to the 2 divided by 3, like that. Okay, and graph it. And yeah, you see you get this kind of funky thing underneath there that goes up to 0 and down from 0. And if you look at your table to kind of get an idea, you see that at -1 and 1, you're at -1. And at 8 and -8, you're at -4. So that gives us an idea of the steepness that we're going to have when we make this graph. So let's see, what did I say? It was here and here, 2, 3, and then here and here, I think. So something like this. Right? That's not too bad. You can see that my range is less than or equal to 0. And it is symmetrical around the y-axis, right? Because they're both going down. We only say it's symmetrical around the origin if we have one up, one down. And as we go in this direction, as x goes to infinity, the function goes to -infinity. And the same is true as x goes to -infinity this way. F of x also goes to -infinity. The last one I want to show you is this one. I was looking at it earlier, and you can't put it in the calculator as it is. I'm not exactly sure why. At least it didn't work on my calculator. You guys can try it if you want. But if you put it into rational form, which means taking, because this whole thing is the square root, right? So we have to take this whole thing and put it to the 1/2. Okay? And it does work. Obviously, our domain is going to have to be, well, what is our domain going to have to be? You really need to understand these two pieces because it's an even index. So what's underneath here, this whole thing has to be greater than or equal to 0. Well, what would make this 0? If x was 3, 3 to the third would be 27, and I would have 27 minus 27, and I would have the square root of 0, which is fine. But if I had 4 cubed, would be 64, and I can't do that because 27 minus 64 is going to give me a negative number. Okay, so that's not going to work. I can't do that. So that means that my domain is going to have to be less than or equal to 3. So keep an eye out when you see stuff like that. Some bells should go off. This is the one you're going to want to put in your calculator. And to save time, I'm just going to show you that that means that it would go kind of like this if you put it in your calculator the right way. Okay? And it's going to be no increasing. I know it's confusing because it looks like it's going up there. But what we're looking at is what's happening when we go left to right. It's actually going down, right? We just don't have an arrow here because it has to stop here. So it's not increasing, it's decreasing from -infinity to 3, right? I think it includes 3 though, doesn't it? I feel like it should include 3. And you can kind of see that the x-intercept is 3, 0 right here. And this is actually a little bit more than 5. It's about 5.2. It's like 3 square root of 3 or something, which is about 5.2. Okay, no symmetry, no discontinuities. And we would say for the end behavior that as x approaches 3, right? That's as far as it can go. It's going to like hit a wall right here. As x approaches 3, our y, our function, is approaching 0, right? It's not going to go below here. It's going to stop there. But if we look at the other direction, as x approaches infinity, as it continues going up, then the function is going to approach infinity. So that's the kind of stuff you want to look out for as you do your homework. I'm going to have you do homework number 2, just the evens. So it's like 2, 4, and 6. Okay, put them in your calculator, fill it out. It shouldn't take you very long. If you get confused, look back at these notes. And as soon as I know what's happening next week, I will let you know. But I suspect it'll look a lot like these videos. Okay. All right, guys, hang in there. Stay healthy. And I'll see you one way or another.